it's, I don't know how many brides have said to me, well, I've planned the whole wedding, just ask me. And that's not what you want to be doing on your wedding day. You think, and you really do plan in advance, and you can have every detail down to the nth degree, but you still need somebody running the show on your wedding day. Mm-hmm. So, yes. Hire somebody to be in charge and to alleviate that pressure off of you, because you will enjoy your wedding day so much more.
Hello to everyone in the wedding community. This is Gene, aka the Wedding Coach, back with another episode of the Wedding Workshop podcast, where our goal is to help couples plan a fun, entertaining, most importantly, stress-free wedding. Our podcast episodes are live, well, not live, but we have a new podcast episode every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. I'm super excited to have my favorite venue and my, two of my favorite people in the whole world, Chris and Lindi, Jenkins. They are the owners of Faithbrooke in Luray, Virginia. Before we get started, I just want to say I miss Faithbrooke. I love you guys.
We miss you, Gene.
We miss you, Gene.
I miss my drives up to Luray. The scenery is just amazing. So I want to jump right into the interview. Well, before I do, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm Lindi Jenkins.
And I'm Chris Jenkins, and we're the couple. We own Faithbrooke Barn and Vineyards, and we started Faithbrooke about 5 years ago, and it was really a pipe dream in a lot of ways. It's an extension of what we love to do in our life, which is extend hospitality through events and entertaining time to people we love, and that's really the genesis of Faithbrooke. And we're, like I said, we're in our 5th year, and navigating this crazy time that we're in right now at our wedding venue.
Yeah.
So since you started talking about, Faithbrooke started 5 years ago, why don't you tell me how you guys came up with the concept of Faithbrooke?
Sure. You want to talk a little bit? Do you want to do it?
Well, Faithbrooke is named actually for our children. Our children's middle names are Faith and Brook. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And we wanted to create a space that would be welcoming and comfortable for people to celebrate in. And we're fortunate to be able to join in so many celebrations every year of love and life and joy. And it's a really fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah, we both grew up here in the Shenandoah Valley in Luray, and we love this area. We love this place, and it's a place that we've always felt rooted to and connected to. And we lived in the DC area for a long time. We were teachers and kind of living that professional life, and we had a couple kids, and we really felt called to come back home and establish ourselves in a meaningful way for our kids' sake and for our family's sake, and do something good for community in the place that we were in. And that's what Faithbrooke really is, the embodiment of that, where it's about events, it's about hospitality, and it's about also wine and farming and all those good organic family things that we love. Yep.
So I remember when I met you guys 6 years ago. I don't think the venue was even open at the time.
Yep.
We met at a networking event in Luray, and big shout outs to Dee Dee Russell, because she's the one that said, "Hey, Gene, we're going to Luray." I'm like, "Where?" And ended up coming to the meeting and met you guys. And I don't even think you were open yet at the time. I think you were still in the building process. And to see you guys where you are right now is absolutely amazing. So one question that I think is on a lot of couples' minds, and we're going to get more back. We're going to get into more about Faithbrooke, but what should couples consider when booking a venue during COVID-19?
Yeah. You want to talk?
Sure. I think first and foremost is foresight in what their options are should, heaven forbid, this continue further than what would be ideal. So if they're looking for a 2020 wedding, they need to have in mind, what is laid out in the venue's contract that would allow them to change a date or get a refund, or what contractual things are in place that protects them as the couple. And then, really same thing for even couples booking a year from now, same thing. And, what happens if this continues, what's in place to protect us as a couple, to either be able to have the choice to rebook a date or get some of our money back, what's in place to, how is the venue going to work with us if this pandemic continues and is a problem for our wedding?
Yep. Even from the top down, I would say, whether it's your vendors or whether it's your venue, try to pick people that have your best interest at heart and really care about customer service and about working with you and about your day. And it's not just some cold, distant thing for the venue. It's actually a personal approach. And I think that's step one. And step two is, like she said, understand the contract and make sure that, read it through and make sure there's protections, and that, if it's a reputable venue and any vendor, if they've done their homework and they really care about their business and they care about you, they're going to have all those things in their contract, laid out very clearly. And there's really, some people look at a big contract and they say, oh my gosh, that's not a good thing. It actually is a good thing to have a very thorough, well thought out contract, because it means that the person you're doing business with has been very thoughtful and been taking a lot of time and money to put together an approach that protects everybody. Yeah.
So I think you guys are amazing. I cannot rave more about you guys as owners and the venue. And this kind of goes into my second question, which is, what separates Faithbrooke from the other venues in the market? And I just want to say that I've worked at tons of weddings, tons of different venues. It's very rare that you see the owners of the venue so engaged and involved. If there's anything going on with, any weddings that I'm booked at Faithbrooke, I can contact you guys, or you guys will contact me and say, hey, Gene, did you speak with this bride? Or Gene, I have a meeting with this bride. I just really, as a vendor that works at your venue, I just appreciate the relationship and the fact that you guys are so hands-on. So what do you guys think separates you from the other venues in the market? And you can't use what I just said.
That's hard. I think we understand that weddings are a big deal in someone's life. It's one of the biggest days you'll ever have in your life, if not the biggest day. And it's a lot of money. I don't care where or how you get married. It's expensive. And we understand that for lack of a better word, product or experience that we're offering is really important to people. And we want to be there and make sure that's a good experience. And we're very involved, I feel. And
from beginning to end.
Yeah, and not as like big brother watching over. We're there to make sure that your day goes really well. Whatever however you want that to go, we're there, and we try to include as much as we can in our rentals, with also the fact that we want it to be as flexible as possible. So, for instance, we include a lot of hours. For our couples. When you book a Saturday wedding at Faithbrooke, you're getting 20 hours total. And that's broken up over 3 different days to give you the experience of, having a day on either side of your wedding day to take care of all the business and the setup and the decorating and all those things, for the day. Can you talk? Sorry. We got interrupted by the dog. No, I think in terms of what we offer and what we do, we're trying to include as much as we can, and we're trying to make it the best day possible for our couples, and all the guests who are in attendance. That's really our motivation here.
So you mentioned the 20 hours. I didn't know that. So once a couple books your venue, they get a 20-hour time slot within. How is that within a 2-day period, a 3-day period?
Yeah, so it's over the course of 3 days. So say you're going to get married, on a given Saturday. What you're going to be able to do is come into Faithbrooke for 5 hours on Friday. So 1 to 6 p.m. And when you show up for your check-in on Friday, the space is ready for you. It's clean. The tables, the chairs, and the linens, which we include in the rental, they're set and they're ready for you. And then you can use that time to run through your rehearsal. You can load in your items. You can do your decorating, all those good things, and then go somewhere for your rehearsal dinner that evening, with the peace of knowing that your wedding venue is ready for you on the following day. On Saturday, your wedding day, you can check in as early as noon, and you get a 12-hour window on that day. And so, noon to midnight. So it's a lot of time, very flexible. We don't dictate when a ceremony or whatever begins. And then on Sunday, 8 to 11 a.m., you can come in and unload, or not unload, load out, I suppose, and check out with your items. And so there's really a built-in space for you to really focus on your wedding day and that's by design for sure.
I love that you guys do that. When I talk to a lot of couples, one of the questions that I always ask them is, what was your experience dealing with the venue? And overwhelmingly, what I hear couples tell me is, regardless what venue that they're booking, right? They don't want the venue to seem like a wedding factory.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're doing a wedding on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Monday, right? And so I think that's amazing. So you guys don't do weddings on Fridays, or
No.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, if someone, let's say a year or two out, wanted a Friday wedding, we would basically maybe make that work for them, but it would still include the exclusive.
But it would shift their package over a day. Yeah. So we don't ever do more than 2 weddings in a weekend. Ever.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I've been working with you guys 6 years. This is good information. All right. So
if we're stressed out, we feel like there's a trickle down effect from us to our couples. And if we're stressed out, they're going to be stressed out too, because we won't be ready for them. And it really is. It's intentional that we really want all of our couples to have the best possible wedding day. And
that's true. Just to give a little experience I had at Faithbrooke, I remember pretty decent sized wedding. The couple had a wedding planner, and I guess there was some miscommunications on the linens. And I remember the wedding planner. She called you, Lindi, and she's like, "Oh, I need some linens." And I don't know if it was linens or chairs, but either way, you were at the venue within like 15 minutes, and you went into the secret compartment, and and I was like, "Lindi, where did you get those?" But and you came in and you made it happen. It was seamless, and it's just really a testimony to you guys going above and beyond. So with that being said, what when a couple books the venue, what's included in the package?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So all of the tables and chairs are included, including the ceremony. So we have enough chairs for the ceremony and the reception. So we don't have to do any switching in between or, resetting. We do all the setup and all the tear down for the tables and chairs. We include table linens, the space for 20 plus hours. Mm-hmm. We have someone who's available at all times for any help that the couple might need prior to, during, or after the event. We have indoor and outdoor space. We have a ceremony arbor. If people choose not to hire a DJ, which of course they should hire you, but you know, some people are a little. Some people just want a little background music, you know, and they can use our speaker system if they want. We have a great kitchen that caterers love to work in. The building is climate controlled, so whether it's we are a 4-season venue, so whether it's summer, winter, fall, spring, we can keep it a comfortable climate. We have ample indoor restroom facilities as well. I've never seen a line at our restrooms, which is really something to be said, I think, for, you know, a large event like that. And then we also have indoor in-facility dressing rooms for the bride and groom and their bridal parties where they can get ready. What else am I leaving out? Anything else?
There's a fire pit, beautiful views. I mean, the views, you can check out the website, but the views at Faithbrooke are really spectacular, overlooking the mountains, the vineyard. Mm-hmm. And we're in a really great space because when you're at Faithbrooke, in a good way, it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of natural beauty, but it's also very close to, you know, less than 10 minutes. You can access all the lodging around here. You can access the major attractions like the National Park or the Luray Caverns or many different restaurants, bars, cafes, brewery, etc. So as a destination for a wedding, it really does really shine because you don't have the hustle and bustle here of a city, but you also have, you know, access to all the things you would need, your guests would need over the course of a wedding weekend. Yeah.
Great parking, fabulous patio with great mountain views. It's just a great spot.
Yep.
I think the fire pit's always a hit. The red pickup truck is great. You know, I think that's a staple feature that you guys have. The natural lighting that you have in the venue. If you guys ever need a sales rep, I mean, you know, I'm.
And we also, I don't know if you even know this, Gene, and you may have seen it on social media, but we did just update the look of our event barn. So before it was a natural wood that, you know, for the past 5 years has worked well, but we really needed to update it, brighten it, make it look a little more elegant for the events that we love here, the weddings. And so we updated the look of it. So you can check that out online, and it's an exciting new thing for this season. Yep.
It definitely makes the venue pop. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
It was already beautiful the way it looked, and you know, that added touch that you got. I mean, I could just imagine what the pictures are going to look like. And you know, because of the scenery, it does make for amazing pictures. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. You know, one of the things that always happens at Faithbrooke, weather permitting, of course, you know, the couple and the guests always seem to migrate outside, right? Because the scenery is just so amazing. And, you know, I realized that a lot of people don't get an opportunity to see the Shenandoah Valley, right? They don't. It's almost like it is like literally a destination wedding, right? Like every time I drive to Faithbrooke, I feel like I'm on vacation, right? The whole experience just driving there, I think, is the start of not only the couple, but the whole overall experience that the couples have and their guests.
Yeah, I think one other thing, just to kind of go back a little bit to what maybe sets us apart from some of the other venues in the area or the state or whatever, is that our vendor relationships, I think they're really good. And also, we don't have in-house catering. We don't have in-house, you know, numerous other things. So let me explain. You have required vendors. So what we do is we allow couples to pick and choose their own vendors, as long as they're, you know, licensed and insured and professionals, and that gives them a lot of flexibility. Next on that list is the fact that we do recommend a lot of our vendors. So we have really good working relationships with local caterers and florists, etc. Gene, you are the only DJ we recommend. You're the only one. And I will tell anybody who's doing a tour at Faithbrooke that you will work closely with them. And I say it to every couple, you have their back on the wedding day. You have their back. You're not interested in putting on a show for your own sake. You're interested in whatever the mood or the people are like at the party. You will meet them where they are, and you'll provide an entertainment experience to them that just is what they want and is beautiful. So that's really what we love recommending you and working with other great vendors here.
And I think that's super important because, you know, what's the first thing a bride is going to do or a couple's going to do? They're going to get their dress and they're going to find their venue, right? And most couples, they've never planned a wedding before, right? I mean, this is the purpose of this podcast, right? Helping couples plan a fun, entertaining, stress-free wedding. And because they've never done it before, they need direction, right? But you're not like most venues, they require you to use their in-house DJ or their in-house caterer or whatever. And I love that you guys are flexible. You allow the couple to come in and you know, decide what's important to them, right? And you're kind of like a guide for them, right? These are the vendors that you're going to need. Here's our recommendation for you, right? And once again, the relationship that we have, and I'm pretty sure with a lot of other venues. I mean, I remember I called you guys and said, listen, I've got some weddings at Faithbrooke. You know, can I come there and meet with my couples? And you said, Gene, absolutely. Here's the code to the gate, right?
Yeah.
Just make sure you lock up when you're done, Gene. And you know, as a vendor working there, that's super important for me to be able to meet the couple at the venue, right? I'll meet them wherever, but it's just more ideal for me to be able to kind of like figure out, you know, see what their vision is, right? That's hard to do if you're doing a Zoom meeting with them or if you're meeting with them at a restaurant. So I always prefer to meet my couples at the venue if possible. So now, how many people does Faithbrooke hold? How many can you comfortably hold?
Well, our maximum capacity inside is 200 seated for dinner. I would say comfortably between 150 and 165, 170 comfortably. It gets a little tight after that, but it's doable.
And by comfortably, what I would say is that means that we can set up and have dinner seating with an existing dance floor without having to move anything around.
Right.
Yeah. Now, our average wedding is probably somewhere in the 140 range, probably somewhere in there. Yeah.
And you guys are a one-stop shop, right? Because you can get married there, you can have your ceremony there, inside or outside, I might add, okay? Backup plan outside, inside if it happens to rain. Cocktail hour right out there on the patio. Obviously, you have the reception inside. You have 2 levels inside. You've got the what I call the VIP upstairs. We don't want to put grandma up there, okay? But you got the patio. I mean, you got the VIP upstairs. You got downstairs. You got the 2 bridal suites. You've got the kitchen, and basically, the only thing the couple needs is to pick their vendors, their DJ, the florist, wedding planner. Other than that, you know, everything is provided for them.
Yeah, and the thing I would add on to that is we do require that our couples have a day of coordinator, and we do provide that as an add-on service in-house. So if you're interested in, you know, coordination, it does certainly help. I think reasonably that an in-house coordinator is going to work, you know, very seamlessly with the venue because, you know, they're here. So yeah.
And I'm so glad that you guys require that. And I don't know if that's a trend that, you know, venues are doing, but the first question I ask when I'm doing a consultation with a couple, first question, off jump, do you have a planner? Do you? And if they say no, I mean, I'm like, listen, you know, I know you and your mom and your sister and your BFF, your maid of honor. You know, it's so important that you have somebody that's going to be in control of your day. If not, I'm going to have to charge you more because that's going to be me. And I'm not qualified for that. Okay, I'm a wedding entertainer, so you know,
And
I don't know about decor and all that.
Our goal is that, and one of the reasons that we require that is that we don't want to have to ask the bride or the groom or the mother of the bride or the father of the groom. We don't want to have to ask them anything on that wedding day. We want to have somebody that knows everything already and is acting as their advocate that we can go straight to, so that they can actually enjoy their day and not have all those questions that are going to come up during their wedding being punted to them, because that's stressful, and we don't like seeing our couples stressed.
Yeah. So yeah, planning a wedding is already stressful. I mean, I just got married 2 years ago, and I do weddings, and I was stressed. And so, and that's why having a good team together is super important. And I believe that's what your planner is, or your day of coordinator. They're the coach of your team, right? They're making sure that everybody is, on deck and doing what they're supposed to do. And listen, weddings are very fluid. The timeline, 90% of weddings don't start on time, right? And I'm not saying that to scare people. I'm just like, that's just the reality of the way things are, right? And so it's super important that you invest in professional wedding vendors. And there is a difference. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. But
my wedding start on time, Gene.
My wedding start on time. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But it goes back to investing in professional wedding vendors, right? Like if you book a photographer that does boudoir for your wedding, I mean, it might be a little challenging, right? Not saying that person is not qualified to do your wedding, but at the end of the day, you do want to invest in people.
It'd be a really interesting wedding album. Really interesting.
So you guys have a large parking lot. Listen, I didn't even realize you had like an extended parking lot other than the main one that you have, right? So can we talk about that a little bit? How many cars comfortably do you think can fit?
Sure, we can do at least we say 80 to 90 cars in the actual gravel lot. But we can extend that and do more beyond overflow parking for sure. Another thing about our venue, and this you wouldn't think you had to talk about it, but you do. Any vehicle can access our venue. You don't need 4-wheel drive. You don't need, no matter what the weather, any vehicle can get in there. Buses. Number two, yes, buses and larger vehicles, whether it's any kind of catering vendor or shuttle bus, they can access our property and make a turnaround very easily. So we're not like our accessibility at Faithbrooke, whether it's for vehicles or handicapped individuals, it's all something we thought about, and it's all easy access. So, everything, like as I mentioned with wheelchairs, et cetera, everything on Faithbrooke that you need to access is on one level, even the ceremony lawn. It's all very close by. So there's no hiking or 4-wheel driving involved to have a wedding at Faithbrooke. It's easy to get to.
So I would imagine you guys are doing virtual tours now, right? And so kind of walk me through what that experience is like, or what a couple can expect during a virtual venue tour.
Sure. Well, first thing I'd say is that, our couples who contact us to schedule, Lindy handles the communications end of Faithbrooke. So she does a great job getting information to couples via email, a very quick turnaround. And then when they book a tour with us, and lately it's been me up there. We can use really any platform to do a video tour at Faithbrooke. And what I intentionally do is I explain just from the very start, what you're going to see, because I want to maximize their experience via video. So I'm walking them through everything very carefully. And what I'll actually do at the beginning of the tour is I walk down to the road and I simulate what it's like to drive into Faithbrooke. So I don't start inside the venue. I start out on the road. I'm like, here's what you would see if you were here in your car, driving up, giving them a 180, 360 view into the parking lot. And then I walk through it as if you're walking into our venue, and really slowly try to pan around and make sure they understand everything. And then, of course, answer any questions they would have. Go back and revisit any items they want to go back and look at. And I've had a few couples ask for follow-up photos of the venue. So I'll go, and maybe they want to share them with their fiance or their parents or whoever. So we'll follow up with that. And then of course, Lindi will follow up with information via email that would help them make a decision.
So Chris, that's something else I didn't know. When I'm thinking virtual venue tour, I'm thinking like you're showing a video, right? Like a pre-recorded video. Yeah, you're actually live with the couple going through the whole. Wow, that's amazing.
Sure. So usually FaceTime, sometimes Zoom, and we've done a couple recently where it's multiple people on the call from different locations. So we'll have the bride on the call, but then maybe her mom is video coming in on FaceTime from like Massachusetts or New York or somewhere, and we're walking them all through it, answering all the questions. That way, if it's live, we can go and highlight certain things that they're asking about or concerned about, and we can also go back and revisit what they're looking for.
That's awesome, and I love the fact that you guys are keeping up with the times, right? Especially now. I mean, couples can't visit the venue physically, but they still can visit the venue because you guys have invested in the time, effort, and energy to make it comfortable for them and accessible. Because though we're in COVID-19, couples are still booking weddings, right? They still, they're still planning, and some venues are closed. They're not even open to take inquiries, and I'm super excited, especially as a vendor that works there, that you guys that you guys are doing what it is that you're doing. So when is did you want to say something, Chris? You want to add something?
No, go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
So when is peak season at Faithbrooke?
Fall is definitely our peak season. October is the hottest month that everybody wants. So I would say our busiest season is September through November, with October being the most sought after month. And then backing up from that, spring is also busy. April through June is our next peak season. And then of course we have weddings all year round. So we have weddings in between, but those are our two peak seasons.
So the fall season, number one, summer being the second, and spring being the third. Now we're not going to talk prices here, but does the price fluctuate depending on high season or low season?
Yeah, so we have an off-season rate, which is December through March, and then we have our on-season rate is April through November.
And then, okay. So walk me through how does a couple lock in a date with the venue, right? What kind of
really try to make it as easy as possible. Once a couple lets us know that they have decided on Faithbrooke and they decided on a date, we pencil that date in for them, and then we start the contract process. So we just need a little bit of personal information from them, nothing like crazy personal. We just need their names and their, like email and phone number and address and stuff. And then we can drop our contract. It's all online. So we drop the contract, we send it to them via email. They sign it electronically and send it back to us, and we countersign it. They send us a deposit, and it's done. It's very, very easy.
So they book a tour, either live or virtually. Once after the tour, you guys are going to send out an agreement to them. And now, do you give them a certain amount of time to book, or let's say somebody else comes in is interested in the date that they have, you'll contact them and let them know. But the step is the tour. You have the agreement. Now, once you have the agreement, is there? I don't want to say there's like a deadline, but
so it's a little bit more, a little more flexible than that. So they have the tour. And then the usual process, the typical, sometimes people come and they're like, we know Faithbrooke is the one, we want to book it now. So we just do that. Typically though, people need a little time. They're looking at other venues. They want to kind of weigh, the pros and cons and, make sure that Faithbrooke is the right choice, which I totally support. So they'll tell us, okay, we're really interested in Faithbrooke. But we still have a couple of other decisions to make, and we need to talk to our parents, or we have 2 more tours, or something like that. But if we decided to go with Faithbrooke, we would want this particular date. So they might say, could you please hold this date for us? So we do a no obligation hold for people. So we'll put a date on hold with no money, no obligation. So we'll pencil their name in for an available date. And the deal is that they have 2 weeks to make a decision and let us know. And if during that 2 weeks, another couple comes along and says, we want that date and we're ready to give you a deposit and sign a contract today, then we go back to the people who actually have the date on hold, and we say, okay, you need to make a decision now. You have 48 hours to decide. And if we don't hear from you within 48 hours, one way or the other, we'll release your date to the other couple. So they might come back and say, yeah, we need a little more time. We're flexible. It's okay if you give it away. Or they might say, yes, we want to lock this in right now. And in that case, we get those few personal information things from them. We drop the contract, send it out to them electronically, give them however many more hours they have left to sign it, and then it's done.
Yep.
Now, what do you call that? The no obligation? It's like it's called no obligation.
Just a hold.
Just a temporary hold with no obligation, no financial obligation or anything.
Yep.
Now, do you guys have a minimum on where a couple has to book a wedding? What I mean is, this is not in my questions. I just thought, as you were talking, I was thinking about it. Let's say a couple comes, they contact you, they say, hey, listen, we're getting married in 30 days. You have the date available. Would you do that? Is that something that you can?
Yeah.
Or would you require?
As long as, in our contracting with our policies, that their vendors are going to be reputable and professional. If they can book all those things and get everything, get all their ducks in a row, then we're fine hosting that event. We're not going to compromise on our professional requirements, but in terms of us trying to be there and make things happen for our clients, we're happy to do that. Yep.
Now, you guys just added an amazing amenity, I think, to Faithbrooke, which is you now have the cork, right? Mm-hmm. Which is is it a restaurant or a wine bar or?
Kind of both, yeah.
But you guys do rehearsal dinners there. Now we're gonna do another show when we just talk about the cork. But can you just kind of like briefly give me like the cliff notes if a couple is interested in booking the cork for the rehearsal dinner?
So on Main Street in Luray, which is less than 10 minutes from Faithbrooke, is this beautiful space that we've developed over the last year or so. At its heart, it's a wine bar, but it is also a stylish, really cool place to have a secondary event to your wedding, like a rehearsal dinner or perhaps an after wedding brunch like the next day. That's been a popular option for folks. And so what we do there is we provide, again, the space, we provide catering options and beverage options and service there. And it's a really great place with a great location that really dovetails perfectly with what we want to offer at Faithbrooke. So that's really what the Valley Cork is.
Now, I've been there. I love it. The food is amazing there. You have 2 levels. You can stop me at any time, Chris. You have 2 levels. You have the main level upstairs, and then downstairs. I don't want to call it a cellar, right? But
it's really it's called the cellar. Yeah.
It's called okay. So downstairs in the cellar is where you guys typically do the rehearsal dinners, correct?
Typically, yeah.
It's typical. I mean, we're again, just like Faithbrooke, the Valley Cork is pretty flexible in terms of what we're willing to offer people and our willingness to work with people. So the upstairs space there can seat up to 60, and then downstairs we can seat up to 50. So combined, we're well over 100, and we can also do, either or, upstairs or downstairs. We have numerous catering options and numerous beverage options to make a really nice event, secondary event to your wedding happen.
Now, can couples do a package deal where they get Faithbrooke and the Cork in one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
We
separate.
give a discount
Yeah, we do give a discount
for Faithbrooke couples.
Right, for Faithbrooke couples at the Cork. Yep, we do that.
So last time I was in Luray in February, I think.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, February. We had a rock star event at the Cork.
Yes, we did.
And I bought my first. Actually, I bought 2 bottles of Faithbrooke's
Rosé.
The
what was it? The
The
rosé. Listen, I still have the 2 bottles. Like,
That's the problem, Gene. You gotta drink those tonight.
no, I gotta save those for a special occasion. But so is this your now? Most people don't know Faithbrooke is a vineyard, or I don't know legally if it's a vineyard.
It is.
But,
Yep.
Okay. So you guys have a vineyard on the property, and you guys are currently making your own wine. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
We have a bottle right here. You want to see it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, right there. So Faithbrooke is a vineyard, which essentially just means grape farm. So when we first opened Faithbrooke, we had the wine dream, and we planted a whole bunch of grapevines, and we've been working those, tending them patiently for quite a few years. And so our first release of red wines is right now, and we have a Cabernet Franc and a Merlot. And we're really happy with them. We also have the rosé that you purchased as well, Gene. So it's 3 different wines we have, and what we did basically is we worked with a local winery to produce those wines. So basically, we grew and we harvested the grapes. We took them off-site to be processed into wine. There are barrels, and working with our friends at another local vineyard to produce that wine, and we just received it, and we're excited to now be offering 3 different wines for sale. So it's a big step for us.
I'm excited because this is the first year. I don't even know how many weddings we've had that I've listened to person after person after person walk up to the bar and say, which one of these wines is from here? And the bartender always said none of them. Yeah. And so this is the first year that we'll be actually have wine available for our couples to serve from our vineyard at their weddings. So we're excited about that.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
For you guys. Just, when my first year at Faithbrooke, you guys were still harvesting. Like, you were, I don't know if that's the correct term.
Planting. Yeah, we're planting the vines. Yep.
You were planting. Like, I would come there on tours. I'd see Chris out there with his shirt off, digging holes.
Oh, yeah.
And fun fact, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but did you not harvest that whole area? Like,
so we all hand planted all of our vines back in 2015 was our first vineyard planting,
which is our first wedding too.
Yeah, it was our first vineyard planting that year. And then it takes grapevines, years to become fruitful and to actually be something you can harvest fruit from. So the minimum is 3 years, and that's what this is. This is the 2017 vintage. So it's 2020 now, but this wine is from 3 years ago, the 2017 harvest. The grapes from 2017. So that it does take time. Wine is all about time to allow those vines to mature and then and make the wine. So, yep.
So listen, I'm not going to keep you guys. This was absolutely amazing. I feel like, listen, I didn't know your kid's name was Faith and Brook. Like, that was, that was new to me. The 20 hours, I didn't know about that. Just so informative. So how can couples get in contact with you and book a tour? Where should they go?
The best way to contact us is to email us. If they want to go to our website, there's a contact page on there. They can email us directly there. Or our email address is pretty easy. It's just info@faithbrooke.com, and Faithbrooke is spelled with an E at the end. That's the most direct and quickest way to contact us.
So last question before we get out of here. What's the one tip that you would give to couples planning their wedding?
Oh boy, that's a big question. There's so many tips that come to mind.
Yeah.
So many.
One tip.
Do you have one? Or you going to start?
Can we each pick one?
Yeah, you can.
Go for it. You have one?
You go first.
I'll go first. Okay. Understand that at the end of the day, you will be married, and you have choices about, this party that you're going to throw, this event that you're going to throw. Who's it for, and why are you doing this? And understand that, the love that you share with those people around you is the most important thing. And that, there's a lot of little details that you can get hung up on, but at the end of the day, you're going to be married, and the love that you express through throwing this event is the most important thing. So I think the way that you view that starting point all the way to the end of that night is really going to inform the way that you're going to deal with other people, and that you're going to host this wonderful event. So I think it's really about sharing and about community. And I think the people that, there can be a bride and groom who maybe 100 things go differently that day than they expected. But if they've got that perspective of, I'm sharing this love with this other person and with all the people around me, then it's going to be a great event no matter what.
Yeah. So you took mine.
I took yours.
So,
oh man, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble now.
So then my next thing would be, do hire a coordinator.
Yes.
It's I don't know how many brides have said to me, well, I've planned the whole wedding, just ask me. And that's not what you want to be doing on your wedding day. Nope. You think, and you really do plan in advance, and you can have every detail down to the nth degree, but you still need somebody running the show on your wedding day. Mm-hmm. So, yes. Hire somebody to be in charge and to alleviate that pressure off of you, because you will enjoy your wedding day so much more.
Yeah, you need that point person. You need, and I'll throw something out there as well. You want to be present at your wedding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to remember it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not be stressed.
Yeah.
You're already stressed.
And not only do you want to be present, you want mom to be present. You want, your maid of honor to be present, or your best friend. A lot of couples, I don't want to say a lot of couples. I know some couples don't know. They think they can hire a friend of the family, right? Yeah. And that's fine. A friend of the family is cool, right? But there's a certain skill level that you need when planning a wedding, and I don't know if Aunt Sally necessarily has those skills. Now, I will say it's good if Aunt Sally's involved trying to get people that she knows kind of situated and get them together, but you definitely want to invest in a professional wedding planner. There's some coordinators that will plan your whole wedding. There's some that'll do 30 days out. There's some that'll do the week of, and there's some that'll do the day of, right? So there are options out there. And listen, and I had no plan in going here, but I will say this: a lot of couples think that, I'm going to save money by not hiring a planner. In actuality, you're going to spend more money, and you're going to be more stressed. And this is why. When you, just like, I'll give a prime example. If Lindy contacts me and says, Gene, I got a bride for you, automatically that bride is getting a discount because Faithbrooke recommended them automatically. And I would imagine that's true for a lot of other vendors. So you're really paying for that experience and the connections that the planners have. All right. So listen, guys, once again, it's such an honor to have you guys on the show as my first venue. So this is going to be historic. I really believe the show is going to take off. And I really love you guys. I love Faithbrooke. I love the Valley Court, and I'm here for you whenever. All you got to do is contact me. You know the relationship that we have, right? So you guys are like family to me.
Yeah. We can't wait to get back to work and
I know.
get rolling again. We'll see what happens, but we can't wait. So,
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Eugene,
we'll
take
see you
care.
soon, man. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.